No, I am not gone. I was just busy the last couple of weeks. Okay, guys, chill, calm down. With the release of Baran, he will be somewhere between Vulcan, Easy and Normal mode, which will be fine. They say if you beat Baran, you will be in the top 10%. Yeah, because like I think 50% of the accounts created already stopped playing the game because of re-rolling and stuff like that. Secondly, there's no mandatory requirement to have a specific hunter skills in order to defeat Baran. When challenging Vulcan, we are aware that hunters with shield removal such as Wong Dong-Su or Mei and Fisher took a spot in your formation. As if Dong-Su ever took a spot. It's just Fisher. But nice try in that marble to paint a picture like Wong Dong-Su was really used. There was like that one video where someone used him, but let's be honest, that never happened. And they changed Baran's weakness. It's now dark and wind element, so we can use our MaTeIRiA Wu team with Han to beat Baran. This will probably work pretty well. I think it will be hard, I guess, for the hard mode, which will be later, be released in a patch after or 2 patches later. But at least we can bring our MaTeIRiA team for that one, or you just bring your new lolly team with Mint together, or you just bring the lollies. And they will also extend the period of challenge for a week, which is also quite nice because this allows you guys in general to wait and see how the new workshop performs, right? And if you really need the dark team or not, depending on how you look at it. I personally still recommend to pull for the characters, unless you say I don't want to have lollies. I can completely understand that. But overall, I would still recommend pulling them because then you have a really strong dark team going forward with Isla's release coming after Gina as well. So you have a complete dark team, which is lacking right now. And then they teased the new core mechanics. So those are the new cores we will get, and we will be able to equip up to 3 cores with attack, defense and support effects. We will see how this goes. I assume something like additional crit damage or more attack based on something, more elemental damage, percentage of something you're tanking. For example, your ability, you take like 10% less damage from water enemies, something like that. That's what I see. Support, maybe something like more movement speed. Who knows, that we will see. But yeah, this is coming with the new workshop. They changed that so that the core system is coming with workshop, so we get a different resource from there, and the burning sets will drop from the Anchor and the instance dungeon, which is good because, to be honest, the Encore missions feels like extremely useless right now because the meta is for all the DPS hunters who are scaling off attack is 4-piece curse, 4-piece beast set, and that's it. Nothing else. And if you have something else like a Charlotte, for example, you go with a full curse set. So it's either full curse or 4-piece curse for 4-piece beast, and that's the only thing we're looking forward to. And then we have a little bit of other things we can do, but in terms of DPS, that's what we are opting for, right? So, and then they changed Choi and other stuff, the Demon King Longsword and Choi. Now I looked at the stuff, so just to make it short, I feel like Choi's changes, they don't faze me at all. They look not good at all. They are negligible. Maybe it's just a preparation of what is to come for him in general, but it's just too little. Like, it's not that his damage will change. It's not a biggie, so he still remains one of the bottom feeders. His best use is still with his weapon together to land the defense break on the guild boss, except for like if Troy didn't have his weapon, he would be completely irrelevant right now. But just because of his weapon, he gets some play currently in the game. Then they also changed Yu Si-Yun, so they buffed her passive ability. They didn't show like how much that changed. I don't know how much it is, to be honest. Slight. And then they also changed the kill shot with advancement 1 from 30% to 40%. Slightly increased the defense penetration advancement 2. And with her A5, they increased the stack from 4 to 6% and a total from 80 to 120% stacks. We have to see how her damage looks like after the change. In my opinion, just from the looks of it, I don't think she deals more damage than she, like a lot more damage than she did before, to be honest. And also it doesn't change much for Yu Suyun, to be honest, because it still remains, if you watched the previous video I posted about the Ascension tier list, her main issue is that her skill animations are too slow. Her entire setup takes way too much time. She has other issues. Her super armor doesn't do much for her because she is a glass cannon unit. And they need to do something more with her. Speed up the skill animations, give her maybe invincibility frames. If you don't give her faster skill animations, at least she needs invincibility frames to perform better. I think it's a step into the right direction for her because she does also need more damage because she's fairly lacking compared to the other DPS units. But this is not enough. It's like a nice bonus, but doesn't change her overall usability. Now, where I'm interested about is the Demon King Longsword. So there are some huge changes for the Demon King Longsword. So they increased the shield from 20% to 50%, which is huge in my opinion, which allows a bigger survivability factor when using the Demon King Longsword. Then they increased the damage from 8 to 12%. That's an additional 4%, which is huge, by the way. That's already like 30% of the double-edged blessing, for example. And then creates a lightning that deals equal to 200%. And that was 120% before. That's 80% increase. And then with his Ascension 1, the damage, the stroke of lightning deals damage equal to 100% from 60%. I think they could have done 120% to be honest, but you know what? It is good. And then his Ascension 3, the weapon, is now getting the Storm of White Flames damage increase. So the Storm of White Flames is getting a damage increase by 30% and increases wind element damage by 10% during Storm of White Flames, which is pretty cool. That just basically increases the overall damage of this weapon. And then when we get, and that's what I said like the last time I talked about this weapon, is with the A5 of this weapon, they just straight up increased from 800% to 1600%, which is a step into the right direction in my opinion. This is good. This is, I think, a huge deal when countering with the Demon King Longsword. And then it also gets a new effect. Stroke of Lightning effect enhancement inflicts the Stroke of Lightning effect to the same target every 3 attacks. Deals damage equal to 200% of the attack cooldown, 0.3 seconds. I don't know why they added the cooldown. We will see and wait. But this could potentially now, with the increases of damage, with all the extra stuff we're getting a thicker shield. We have a higher attack boost. Now the damage is like 80% more here, 40% more here. An additional effect which gives a damage increase 30%, increases the wind element damage by 10%. Then if you counterattack, now you have 1600%. Now you get an additional effect for the Stroke of Lightning, right? And this is now easier to execute because the Stroke of Lightning, instead of needing 5 attacks for it to apply, it's now every 3 attacks. So this here could finally, theoretically, dethrone Westwind. I don't think necessarily that it does more damage than Westwind when it comes to single burst, but the period over time with the lightning taking place and so on, that whole animation thingy, this could deal more damage than Westwind, especially since Westwind with the more difficult stages, if you know, is that Westwind's problem is the crits. If you crit with the weapon, good, but if you don't crit, it's the worst feeling not critting with Westwind. So this here could be a huge change and maybe make the Demon King Longsword more useful than Westwind, but we will have to wait and see. And then also they did some changes overall here with the hunters. So they added Char, Alicia, Fisher, Yu, Mireille, and Han to the rate up draw. Finally, they changed it up. I was like, for the longest time I was thinking like, why did they not change the rate up banner for the featured unit, for let's say Charlotte, Harper, stuff like that, for these type of banners? Because everything except for the featured unit is like old stuff from patch 1.0, and it feels so bad. You didn't even have Char, right? You didn't even have Char for that, and it felt so bad losing the 50-50, you know, like losing 50-50 was the worst feeling, to be honest. Now with that change, at least losing the 50-50 doesn't feel as bad anymore, because you can now get more Fisher copies, more Alicia copies, or Char copies if you're liking, or MaTeIRiA even. Han is like, whatever, but you know what, at least something. And then also for the special summons, they added Fisher, Yu, MaTeIRiA, Han, and Go to the special summon, which is also nice, because the special summons also feel outdated. And in my opinion, and they also added the Phoenix Soul and the Disease Fragment. In my opinion, also they need to update the special summons every single patch, by the way. I think it's not acceptable that they make a paid subscription and then do not update that subscription every month with new featured characters and stuff like that, because people are paying for that. So might as well you make sure to update that, because otherwise people will just cancel their subscription. And I think it's also a joke. I expect from Netmarble to update this every single month or every single patch going forward. And then also they increased the amount of platinum commemorative coins you get from 15 to 240. That's a huge change, because this is now, if you already have an A10, it's not everybody, but if you have an A10 unit and you pull another one, now it doesn't feel as bad anymore, because you're now getting great stuff. You're getting now a special placed weapon design, which is completely new, by the way. We didn't have this before, and this is something I think no one really talked too much about it, because this sphere is special player weapon design will be used for crafting Sung Jin Woo weapons. This is huge. So you're getting 240 and you can get one special player design for 250. And the thing with this here is, I don't know how many we need, but the SSR weapon design, those are the Hunter exclusive tickets. I think this should be the case right here. Those you need 4 to craft one SSR weapon for your hunters, right? I hope, this is what I hope for, that one special player weapon design ticket, or at least maximum 2, is enough to craft a weapon for Jinwoo. I hope this really is enough, because otherwise, if it's the same as the hunter exclusive weapons for your hunters, right, that means you need 4 special player weapon design tickets, which basically means you need 4 SSRs to transfer it into one SSR weapon, which is in my opinion too much to ask for. I hope it's just a 2-1 ratio, to be honest, and not more than that, but we will have to wait and see. If that is the case, if they ask as much as for the SSR weapon design tickets, I personally will opt for SSR weapon design tickets and mana power extras depending on what I need. But usually the SSR weapon design is the biggest thing for me personally, because we need, it's really hard to get these tickets anyways, and this helps out at least, so we have a new way to get those tickets. Then they made some changes. They changed Kaiser Lin in the break changes. Hopefully now the Encore is more bearable and it doesn't feel as buggy as before. Looking forward to the change and see how that goes, but that was well needed. They also made adjustments to the guild overall menu, which is good, because that was also hard for some members to get access to the certain places. More adjustments to power of destruction and guild boss. Then the burning curse sets dropping from on-current instance. Then Sung Jin Woo preset will extend from 3 to 5. Doesn't really change anything, because in my opinion those presets suck anyways, because I don't see any way in shape or form how I can even swap my Sung Jin Woo presets. There's like no window where I can change from preset 1 to 5. It's completely stupid. They need to change the overall UI UX on that one before that thing even does anything, to be honest. Then the selective rewards for each level of the subscription will be increased, yeah. And we will see about that. Then the Workshop Brilliant Light key will be adjusted to be purchased by guild level 6 or higher. I don't know, was it lower than that? I don't really know. I have to see and check that. And this is also new, a new blessing slot will be added on Halloween. So this is interesting. So we now get a 5th additional blessing slot, but this slot will be separate to the other 4 slots, because in the 4 slots you can just equip anything, and then you have your 5th slot, which is dedicated for survivability. And this just makes it so that your 5th slot will always be something like Casa Castile Scale, or like Kandari's Blessing, for example, which you don't use. But this is probably the slot where you will put your swiftness in. Swiftness or speed. That's probably the best blessing you can use for these slots, or even your daily quest completion that you can also use there for survivability. But this is basically your 5th slot. You're gonna use your 4 slots for damage, reawakening, pulverize, stuff like that, and then that 5th slot you will put slap on your swiftness, something like that, and you're good to go. But it's cool, at least we have now a 5th slot, helps out nonetheless. I would have hoped for just an additional 5th slot so I can use 5 attack damaging blessings, but I think they did that on purpose because they didn't want us to give another damage upgrade, so they made it so we have to use our survival blessing stones. And then other than those details, blah blah blah, they will look into mana consumption, how to improve that. And then we have the judge of death. This will be the world boss, which will be coming later this year, and then we will get a Halloween event. And yeah, and then we have, last but not least, the code core update. We will get 1000 essence stones and 1 million gold. And yeah, that's about it for the dev note. Took quite some time already to talk about everything here, but yeah, that sums up everything. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What are you excited to see? What are you missing from here? Let me know. And also, guys, if you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to leave a like and a comment down below. I really appreciate it. And see you with the next one. Deuces.